Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have a magnificent guest with us today, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than our brother Abraham Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, brother. Walaikum salam. Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. The honor is all ours.
Yeah,
And on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we thank Allah for you taking time out of your busy schedule to come have an amazing conversation with us.
absolutely.
The
I was
first,
actually I was actually over the road. I couldn't make it home. I ended up booking a hotel just to have this conference, brother.
that means a lot to us. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Um,
Absolutely.
when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Oh man, long time ago, 1993. My neighbor was a 5%er. He started giving me lessons, 5% Nation. And that's when I first heard it. But I didn't really think much of it. And then I saw the movie Malcolm X, which I believe was that year, 1993.
Mm, mm.
And when I saw the movie Malcolm X, right, I was like, man, I gotta know more, I gotta know more.
Okay, yes, sir. And when did you accept?
Say again?
When did you accept the teachings?
That next year, 1994,
Okay.
I was 20 years old.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And what was the climate like in the New York area? That's where you were, correct?
Right, yes. Yeah. Rochester, New York, upstate New
Okay.
York.
Yes, sir.
The climate in terms of what, beloved?
And as far as the mosque, the community.
So it was a very tiny mosque study group. It wasn't a lot of people there. We were right in the middle of the ghetto, right? I mean, the worst of the worst, but I really wanted to go. I really wanted to hear what these new people were saying. And I accepted, my first day, first meeting. I raised my hand and I joined.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Now, 1994 is
Right.
doing the lead up to the Main Man March, the men's
Yep.
only, and things of that nature. What was that spirit like?
So it was when I joined, we was like traveling a lot. And I didn't it was new to me. We were always in a different city. We went to like the Jacob Javits Center for the million for the for the lead up to the Million Man March. I sat right behind Lord Jamar. I remember that. And
Okay.
it was a lot going on. I just knew we was gonna take over the world. It was
Mm.
everywhere. We got to the to the mall, we got to Washington, DC. It was nothing but black men. Everybody was, happy to see each other. Everybody was friendly. We was everywhere. We was on the trees. We was on the statues. We was everywhere. And I just knew for certain, we was gonna take over the world without a doubt. Of course, unfortunately, we did not. But I just knew for sure this was it.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. All right. And I wanted to ask you about fear. Have you ever been faced with fear? And if so, how have you overcome that fear?
Oh man. So many times. Um, a nation related or just in general in
Just in
life?
general, just in life, in life.
So I got I got a real estate broker's license in Indianapolis where I live now.
Mm,
And I failed the first test. And I'd wake up because I do my 12-hour workday, but I'd wake up early in the morning, study 2 hours, then go to work, 10, 12-hour workday, get a little bit of studying in. And I was really scared because I didn't know if this would even result in anything, right? Sometimes you do something, you don't know if it's going to bear fruit or not. You're just doing it and you hope, right? But you're afraid that it might not work if we're honest, right? I don't think we're all Superman. We're afraid the things we do sometimes won't work. And I end up failing the first exam. I studied 6, 7 months. Turns out though, I found out later, Indianapolis has one of the hardest exams in the country.
mm, mm.
And agents fail this 10 times in a row sometimes. And my kids are watching me study. They see me fail the exam. I come home, I failed the exam. And I told them, well, I got to study some more and I got to take it again. I didn't know what the result would be. Long story short, I ended up passing it my second time, and I went on to become lead agent in an all black real estate firm. Within a year, I became lead agent and was given top commission.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
All black real estate firm. We managed like 600-700 properties or something like that.
Go ahead.
And but when I was studying, I was terrified. I didn't know if this was just a complete waste of my time. Very difficult, you know. Some things we got to do. We don't know if they're going to bear fruit or not.
Yes, sir. Okay, praise be to Allah.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone who's watching all around the world. What advice would you give to others about overcoming staying persistent? Like how you did, staying persistent.
You know what? It's something that I'm still doing to today. You know, I'm working on other things now. I'm studying the stock market now.
Mm, mm, mm.
That's even harder than the real estate.
Okay, okay.
And one of my biggest failures when I was a young man was always giving up. Whether it was I went to college, I gave up. I mean, I got a long list of things when I was young I just gave up on. And I don't know what the formula is for staying consistent. I think I think you just either tell yourself I'm gonna do it regardless, or you just get tired of giving up and you're not gonna give up no more. You know, I don't know the magic formula, honestly. I wish I knew it.
Yes, sir. Okay, great. Well, praise be to Allah. Sister Miriam says, Assalamu alaikum, family. Alaikum salam, Sister Miriam.
Like,
Sister Hagar says, okay, all praises to Allah. Sister Naima says, ASA family. Walaikum salam. Thank you all for watching. And thank you to our YouTube family as well. Brother Musa, Sister Auntie, Brother Kente, Sister Hope, everyone who shows love on YouTube as well.
like,
Yes, sir. Okay, now, Brother Abraham, I wanted to ask you about
mm,
um, us meeting. You said you
yeah,
met me as a young man. Can you let us
yeah.
know what that was like?
So I was like my first year in the nation. I was probably 21, give or take. And I went to we was in headquarters in Chicago. It was a trip. We was always on the road. So it was some kind of trip in Chicago, and we were in the parking lot right there, Mas Mariam. And this is all new to me, right? The bow ties, the black, the power, do for self, how to eat to live, all brand new. I'm just taking it in. And you were standing there in the parking lot. I noticed a group of well-dressed young men, right? And I can't remember how we got close. I don't know if somebody I was with knew you. I can't remember. But um as we got close to you, I saw that you were having a discussion with the other young men. You were probably 12, 13, something like that. You were decked out in a nice suit, right? And you were speaking, and I never heard a young man speak like that. You were talking about the principles of justice and how something happened and how justice wasn't done, and this is not how we should do things.
Mm,
And I
mm.
was like, I must be in the right place. You know what I mean? I must be in the right place. That was first time that you don't remember, but that was the first time I met you.
That's an incredible story. Shout out to that's a great story. Thank you for the happy story, freedom, justice, equality, all that good stuff at 12
Yeah,
years old. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. I wanted to ask you about getting married at the Million Family March.
I did. I got married we still married.
Okay,
So
yes,
this,
sir.
and it's 2024, so that's 24 years. Me and my wife, we got married at the Million Family March. I knew it was happening. I just met her, right? I introduced her to the teachings, and I was like, well, there's going to be a march. It's coincidentally going to be a wedding ceremony for people that want to get married. I had already popped the question,
Mm.
like perfect timing, and I said, "Do you want to go to Washington D.C. for the Million Man March to get married?" And we went and we got married, and we got the video. We can still see the video. It's an old VHS. We still got it. But we got married. We've been married a lot of up and down, but we've been married ever since
Oh,
24 years.
Go ahead. Beautiful. Yes, sir.
Yes,
And people
sir.
are bear witnessing all praises to Allah. Thank you, Sister Naima. Thank you, Sister Miriam. Sister Queen says, Happy Saviors Day. Happy Saviors Day, ma'am. And Assalamu alaikum, family. Walaikum salam. Okay. But being married since 2000,
Right.
what advice would you give to future husbands?
Well, if you got a wife and you got a family, especially if you got a family. I mean, this is for if you got a wife as well, but especially if you got a family, it comes before you. My family comes before me. You know what I mean? Most of divorce is because um there's something you're going through that hurts, and it legitimately um is weighing on your mind to the point where you want to leave the relationship. But in my case, I had to realize that because the love is going to be up and down, so it's got to be something else holding you there. So, with my case and having a family over the years, separation and divorce is worse. I would be okay, to be honest. There were times where I would be okay separating, but my children wouldn't,
Mm, mm,
right? And even my wife, she wouldn't. What is she gonna do?
mm.
Now she's married to me. She's because she's stay at home mom. She's always been stay at home mom.
Yes, sir.
And so I just had to realize that as a man, you got to sacrifice for a greater good. You're not always gonna get the things you want. There's gonna be things that really hurt that you got to take them in stride. You got to take them in stride for the for the for the betterment of the whole, right? The
Beautiful.
whole is greater than the sum of its parts. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Praise be to Allah.
So,
And for children, so what advice would you give to future fathers?
children. I got four girls, so um, they're very sensitive. You got to be careful, right? They're more for how you say it versus what you say.
Yes, sir.
You got to be very careful with the girls. You can push them away. Like it doesn't seem like it. If you're a man, you want to be firm and strict. And I grew up this way, and we don't tolerate BS. And who are you sucking your teeth and all this other stuff? You just got to be careful. And I'm sure you could do this with boys too, especially when they're younger. They're more sensitive, but you will push the girls away, and it's hard. It doesn't sound like it, but it's hard to get them back.
Mm,
And there,
mm,
there are people that they're believers, and there are people in the world that have pushed their children really far
mm,
away with their harshness and their inability to be flexible. And you can't push them away and not get them back. You have to be very careful. They are sensitive creatures, and they're more sensitive than we were growing up. Um, it seems like I don't know if that's the internet or what, but they're more sensitive than we were growing up.
mm.
So
Okay, yes, sir. Being sensitive, praise be to Allah. And people are bearing witness in the comments. Sister Captain Sultana says, true. Thank you, and thank you all who continue to watch. Um, right now, Brother Abraham, we have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. And please let us know your questions and comments in the chat. We're grateful for every like, share, and subscription. 1 second. Yo, thank you all.
you got sponsors, brother? That's pretty good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hold on 1 second. There we go. And I see all of the comments, and we're coming right to your questions and comments.
Television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of those services. Sister Miriam's ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book, all three available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Henry Carter's King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad's COVID-19 disinfected cleaning services out of Chicago. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon.
Perfect. All right, and we're right back to our Brother Abraham.
Speaking of your dad, bro, you got to put up that picture with me and your father and Mustafa if you got it. Can you be able to do that?
I'm gonna put it on the YouTube thumbnail, so like when people go to your page, they'll be able to see that. Because I was gonna ask you about the picture with you and the minister. How did that come about?
So the one with me and the minister, so he came to Buffalo, New York, and there was an event, and there was a VIP section, and he came in the VIP section, and we happened to be able to meet the minister. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. Mustafa was there. Captain Dennis was there. Captain Hugh was there. There was a lot of people there, bro. I was shaking in my boots, to be honest. I was nervous. I was brand new. You know what I mean? I was very nervous, but it was a pleasure to meet the minister. I thought he was a lot taller.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I thought he was, you know what I mean? I thought he was a lot taller.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, speaking of my father in that picture, that's a great picture. We know we're gonna use that for the YouTube thumbnail. How did that picture come about?
That was in the Salam restaurant, in the early days, obviously. Not early 90s, mid 90s. It was at the Salam restaurant, maybe a Savior's Day, but it was all FOI for some reason. We were at the Salam on the second floor, and Brother Mustafa and Sharif started taking pictures. And I went up there and I was like, man, can I get a picture? And, and Brother Mustafa looked at me like, come on, brother. Like, of course you can, right?
Yeah.
And I felt so small, bro. He was to my left, and your father was towering over me to the right. And I was very nervous. It's a classic picture. I love it.
It is. Praise be to Allah.
One of my favorites.
And it's definitely
at the time, he was supreme and Mustafa was assistant supreme.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about you're very motivational. So let's continue to motivate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The greatest trial in your life, and how did you overcome that trial?
The greatest?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna put me on the spot here. The greatest. There's a couple.
Okay.
When I was 40, I'm 50 now. How to eat to live, brother. I've never, bruh. That's always been at the top of the pile for me. How to eat to live. But when I was 40 or 39, one of those, I was homeless. I almost lost my family. In fact, my wife was staying with her mother, my pregnant wife, staying with her mother, and I also had my 7-year-old daughter at the time. And I just made some bad decisions. I was a hard worker. Wasn't that I wasn't a worker, but I just made some bad decisions, and I ended up homeless. And it kind of came to a head because I was homeless for like 9 months, and not almost a year. And at one point, I finally got like a little studio apartment. It was so small and was so bad. My wife couldn't even stay there. It was so small and it was so bad that when you open the door, the stove was there. It was pretty bad. But one night, I came to this little tiny apartment. Mind you, like after 9 months of being homeless, sleeping on couches and stuff like that, it was pretty bad to be like that old, to have a family and be broke and homeless. It's pretty rough. And I got to the apartment that one night. I took a shower, and I saw a roach crawling up the wall, and I just started crying, man. And I was like, I don't know what I did, God. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I can't believe, because when I was younger, 9, 10, 11, we had a lot of roaches in the house, right? It was pretty bad, right? It was a bad environment. And so now I'm 40 and now I'm homeless and now it's like I'm back to where I was when I was 8 or 9. So it was a real visceral moment for me. I was crying like a little baby. I was like, God, I'm sorry. I don't know what I did. I have no idea. I'm praying. And it didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it, but my life has been going up ever since. It didn't feel like it at the time, but it's been going up, ever since. I bought a brand new house for my family
Go ahead, brother Abraham.
4 years ago, 3 years ago, brand new subdivision, and my wife's staying home mom. And that was probably one of the toughest, but yeah, that was tough. That was a tough one.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And since Naima says all praise be to Allah, what has been your greatest joy in life, brother Abraham?
My children, you know, I didn't, I love them so much. I love my daughters so much. You know what I mean? To see them grow, you know, my youngest is 17 now and 11. And to just, see them grow. Now my 17-year-old, she's pretty sassy. She's pretty sassy, but she's adorable. And then my 11-year-old, to see her just become who she is. She's so next level. That's what we want, right? We want our kids to like pick up the ball, you know what I'm saying, and move forward. Like they are so next level compared to what I was at 11 and what I was at 17. That's my greatest joy to see that. Like, so if they hand that off at the current trajectory, I told them our great grandchildren, our great great grandchildren, if we keep it at this trajectory, we'll be one of the families that change the world. So my children for sure.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Now, brother Abraham, you are a very thought-provoking intellectual. Will you ever write a book?
At some point. Yeah, at some point. When I'm done with the stock market, and if I can finish what I have envisioned with the stock market and become wealthy how I need to be with the stock market, at that point I'll probably for sure sit back and write a book. Yeah, for sure.
Praise be to Allah. We look forward to reading it and supporting that. And on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to thank Allah for you and your many sacrifices, the sacrifices of your family, and just me personally. I just want to thank you very much for your heart.
I appreciate it, brother.
And standing on business, and I very much respect you.
I appreciate it, brother.
I just really respect you, sir. I wanted to ask you about your favorite album of all time.
My favorite album?
Yes, sir.
Music album.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, why are you doing this to me, brother? My favorite music album of all time. You trying to get me in trouble, right? you start in trouble. That's what you're doing, beloved. I honestly don't have one. I have a lot of favorite songs.
Okay, some of your favorite songs.
I have a favorite album. But I got a lot of favorite songs.
Okay, can you hear some of your favorite songs?
What can I say here? Because I don't even listen to music that much anymore, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I gotta dig in the crate. Now, when I came into the nation, when I was 19 years old, the Brand Nubian album, I think it's called "In God We Trust."
Okay, I never heard of that. Okay, Brand Nubian.
I think that's the one with Lord Jamar. That's the one where they got the minister on, the meaning of the 5%.
Okay, I gotta look that up.
Have you ever heard that?
No, sir. No, sir.
Oh, you gotta check it. So I believe it's called "In God We Trust." It's Brand Nubian, and the minister's on there. got a clip of the minister of the meaning of the 5%. And they got like this real hard music playing in the background, and the minister's going in. Who is the 5%? Who is the 10%? Who is the 85%? So that album, kind of changed my life. There's a lot of other ones as well, but that album kind of changed my life.
Okay, yes, sir. Well, Brother Abram, you definitely put us on
Yeah, for sure.
some new music. And every time, that's why I like asking that question so we can learn. And Brother Kelvin says that's fire. So, okay, he's familiar with Brand Nubian and God We Trust. Okay, I didn't know. Thank y'all for putting me on before my time. All right.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. And thank you everyone who was watching. I also wanted to ask you, boom, what would you like your legacy to be?
Well, brother, I I would like to. When I joined the nation, I just knew that I would evolve myself to be someone to transform the world, to change the world, right? So I'm still working on that, and that's I want to be able to affect the world, to change the world on a broader scale, and I want to be able to do that, or I want my children to be able to do that. So it's not like if I don't get to do it how I envision, it's over. Because we know what Yakub, right? His work was done by future generations anyway. So it doesn't have to be right now. But if my children can pick up the ball and keep going, which is what it appears to be the case, then that's okay too.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. Well, and once again, everybody who in the comments and everybody who's watching, can't wait to upload this to YouTube right away. Happy Savior's Day.
Yeah, it's gonna be some nice pictures on there with me and your dad, me and the minister.
Yes, sir.
There's one with me and Jabril. So if they don't see him here, they can see him on the YouTube, right?
Oh yeah, no, that's gonna like when I upload it, that's gonna be the thumbnail. Okay, but speaking of the one with Brother Jabril,
Yeah.
how did that come about?
Brother Jabril used to come to Buffalo a lot
Okay.
in the early days, in the 90s. And that particular picture, we was at one of the believers' house. And he was just sitting in a circle, and everyone was asking him questions. And I can't remember how we ended up taking the picture, but we took the picture. But he asked me my name, and I told him Abraham. And as soon as I said my name, he whipped out a pen and a piece of paper, and he wrote something, and he put it in my hand. And I looked at it later, and it was the Holy Quran, I believe, 16:16. It's like the story of Abraham.
Mm.
And he just put that in my hand. So that's how I ended up meeting Jabril. He would come to Buffalo a lot, and we would just ask him a lot of questions. He was very instrumental, honestly, in those days for me. He was.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Well, once again, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast for a special edition. Look forward to seeing everyone soon. Everybody showing love all around the world. And we're going to upload this to YouTube right now. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Like,
Thank you very much.